Hi, my name is Keith Wann, and this is my sign name, Keanachin. My sign name came from my parents, who after meeting, my mom quickly became pregnant. When I was born, they did not know if I was deaf or hearing, so they did the Coda hearing test. My mom screamed, and this was my reaction. And that's when my mom said, yep, he's hearing, he can talk, so his name sign will be K for talking. When I was younger, I'd say it was a second or third grade, I can't remember, my family often moved around because my father was always looking for work. He was a part-time printer and a part-time carpenter. I remember this one city. I was excited to go to the new school. The morning of, my mom came in and woke me up, and I was so excited I jumped out of bed, put on my clothes, and headed to school. In my excitement, I forgot to grab the necessary paperwork. When I arrived to school, the other students came up to me, and I said, hi, and they waved back and asked me how I was doing. And I said, I'm new here. I have to go to the principal's office. And that's when a student said, oh no, fair warning. Why are they giving me fair warning? What are they trying to warn me about? So it piqued my curiosity. I walked into the principal's office and I knew I had to let them know that I forgot the paperwork that my mom filled out. As I entered, the secretary looked at me and said, how are you? And I let her know I was fine, and she asked for the paperwork. Said it needed to be filled out because I was a new student and they needed all the documentation. And I said, yeah, my parents are deaf. And the secretary looked at me, then she started to cry and said, I'm so sorry. Go to class. Don't worry about the paperwork. I'll fill it out for you. I love you. I support you. And I thought that was a very friendly woman to offer that kind of help. So I finally located the class. I went in and took my seat. And I noticed the teacher was looking at me. And so I waved. And she told me not to worry. I told her I wasn't worried. You'll be okay. Yes, I will be. And that's when I noticed the other students were looking at me and they asked me if I wanted a hug. What kind of hearing people are these? They want to hug me? No, I'm fine. Back away, please. About 2 hours in the class, the principal poked his head in and said, Keith, can you come here, please? And that's when all the boys said, oh, you're in for it now. So I came out and said, what's going on? And the principal said, I am so sorry. Do you want some ice cream? Yeah, I'm not stupid. Yeah, I want some ice cream. Here you go. Now go back to class and don't you worry. You'll be okay. Okay, so I took my seat with my ice cream, and that's when I noticed the other kids were not jealous. They kept saying, we support you. They even took a hat and passed it around the room like a collection plate. I ended up with $17. I kept it. I'm not stupid. And this happened the next day, the following week, even months after. Everyone was so nice to me. If I got into trouble, I was never sent to the principal's office. The teacher always forgave me. One day, I chewed up some paper, grabbed a straw, and spit a juicy spit wad. It hit the girl on the side of the head, and she didn't get mad. She just took it off, looked at me, and said, it's okay, Keith. I support you. And the teacher said, I support you too. This was a very strange hearing school. One day I heard my teacher talking with another teacher out in the hallway, and she said, we all need to support Keith in his loss. My loss? And that's when I realized They thought I said my parents are dead. Cool. That's why they're being so nice to me. I'm going to take advantage of this. I'm not stupid. Every day, I asked for money. The kids quickly accommodated. I asked for ice cream. The principal brought it first class. But then one day, as I was chilling out in class, getting my needs met, the principal said, "Keith, come here now." I walked out into the hallway and said, what's going on? And my principal said, "Who is this lady?" And that was my mom standing right there. And the principal said, "Your parents are deaf, not death." I looked at him, looked at her, and said, "That's not my mom." Hello. The name of this book is The Snowy Day. Written by Ezra Jack Keats. One winter morning, Peter woke up and looked out the window. Snow had fallen during the night. It covered everything as far as he could see. After breakfast, he put on his snowsuit and ran outside. The snow was piled up very high along the street to make a path for walking. Crunch, crunch, crunch. His feet sank into the snow. He walked with his toes pointing out like this. He walked with his toes pointing in like that. Then he dragged his feet slowly to make tracks. And he found something sticking out of the snow that made a new track. It was a stick. A stick that was just right for smacking a snow-covered tree. Down fell the snow. Plop on top of Peter's head. He thought it would be fun to join the big boys in their snowball fight. But he knew he wasn't old enough, not yet. So he made a smiling snowman. And he made angels. He pretended he was a mountain climber. He climbed up a great, big, tall, heaping mountain of snow. And slid all the way down. He picked up a handful of snow, and another, and still another. He packed it round and firm. And put the snowball in his pocket for tomorrow. Then he went into his warm house. He told his mother all about his adventures while she took off his wet socks. And he thought and thought and thought about them. Before he got into bed, he looked in his pocket. His pocket was empty. The snowball wasn't there. He felt very sad. While he slept, he dreamed that the sun had melted all the snow away. But when he woke up, his dream was gone. The snow was still everywhere. New snow was falling. After breakfast, he called to his friend from across the hall. And they went out together into the deep, deep snow. The end. Hey, I'll tell you what happened. Hey, pay attention. I'm going to tell you what happened. It wasn't on Christmas. It was the day before, the night before. It wasn't sunny. It was dark. It was Christmas Eve. Let me tell you what happened. In the neighborhood, all the houses were quiet. No one was talking, not even a mouse. Hey, no talking. No one was talking. Everyone was quiet and asleep. Above the fireplace, stockings were hung. One even fell down, which luckily didn't start a fire, because hitting socks next to a fireplace is not too good of an idea. You need to hang it somewhere else next time. Anyway, the reason why they're hanging all their stockings there is because they hope, they're praying that Santa Claus is going to show up and put stuff in their stockings. And upstairs in the bedroom, all the children were sleeping in their beds. They were snoring. This one kid had sleep apnea. He kept up the other kids. They couldn't sleep. They're all, dude, shut up. And they were all sleeping. And they were dreaming about McDonald's and Burger King. Wait, no, that's another story. That's not healthy food. They were dreaming of healthy things like candy. And in the bedroom next to them was the wife and husband. I love you, honey. I love you. I love you. And it was cold because they couldn't pay their electricity bill that winter because it's really high. And so they decided to snuggle and cuddle. When all of a sudden I heard something outside. So I jumped up out of bed and I said, hey, who's there? I walked over to the window, pulled open the curtains, and I looked around the yard and I didn't see anything. And I said, hey. And that night, it was a full moon. And it was reflecting off the snow. So it was really bright outside. And I said, hey, whoever's out there, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call 911, video relay service style. And that's when I saw somebody right there in my yard. He had one of those big sleds that you see at the mall there. And this fat guy with some reindeers in front of him. And I wiped my eyes, looked again, and the sled and the reindeer started to fly into the air. It was that Santa Claus guy. Santa Claus woke me up. I was mad. And the sled took off really quick. Quicker than a bird. Faster than a rocket. And I heard him yell at the names of all the reindeers. He said, okay, Dancer and Dawn and Vix. Oh, too much finger spelling. Yeah, they all had names. Just go with it. There was Dorky and Grump, whatever. Names are not important. The point of the story is these reindeer were flying in the air. And they landed on the roof. The house shook so bad as if it was a hurricane, which started to really get me angry. Somebody was up on my roof and then I heard somebody walking around up there. I just rebuilt that roof last summer because it had a little leak during the spring, and so I had to re-shingle everything. Up there walking on my brand new roof. Why the heck is he up there anyway? I was starting to get irate. And I decided to go outside and get a better look to see if he was ruining my roof because I was going to sue Santa Claus. Then I heard something coming down the chimney. And it was the guy in the red suit coming down my chimney. He was lucky that I doused the fire for the night. I don't know CPR. How am I supposed to resuscitate him? And when he landed at the bottom with his furry white laced suit, I noticed he had a whole bunch of black soot on him because I didn't clean my chimney for 3 years. I can't afford it. And that's when I noticed he had a bag thrown over his shoulder. Looked like he was planning to steal all my stuff, casing the joint, planning to rip me off. So I kept an eye on him. And that's when I noticed his eyes were shining. And he had big, fat, red cheeks, a red nose that shined so much like Rudolph the... Yeah, that's another story next year. And he had a funny-looking, Joker-looking mouth. Why is he so happy? Because he's going to steal all my stuff? Then he had a long, white, hippie beard. I had to do something. And that's when I noticed he lit up in my house, smoking his pipe. How dare he smoke in my house? Ruin my roof, smoke in my house. Now we're all going to smell like cigarettes. And then that's what I noticed. He had a huge belly. And he started to laugh. It felt like an earthquake tremoring through the house. He was huge. He needed to go on that TV show, The Biggest Loser. Then I started to laugh at him. Hey, fatso! Then he winked his eye, shook his head, twitched his nose, and after seeing all this odd behavior, I decided to go up to him. But before I could take a step, I noticed he wasn't saying anything. He didn't hear me. Maybe he was deaf. He took his bag and started to put things in my house. He filled up the stockings. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. Then he twitched his nose again, did some of that magic voodoo stuff, and flew up the chimney. I heard him up on the roof again. He whistled, and then the reindeers took off. What an interesting night. And then I heard him yell something. Merry Christmas, and to all a good night. Next year, I'm going to get me an alarm system that'll scare him off. Papa, do you love me? You came from your mama, whom I love, your grandpapas and your grandmamas, whom I honor, and from me. You are my tender heart, and I love you. How much? I love you more than the warrior loves to leap. More than the bush baby loves the moon. More than the elder loves his stories. How long? I'll love you as long as the wild beast run on the Mara. The hippopotamus wallows in the mud, and the Serengeti rolls to the sky. Papa, what would you do if I was hot? We would rest under a green heart tree. But what if the sun scorched the leaves and they dropped off the branches? Then I would stretch out my blanket till you were cool in my shade. What if I was thirsty? You would drink water from the calabash that you filled from the river. What if the river was dusty and the creek was cracked? I'd teach you to look for hidden streams and push through dry earth until you reached water. Then, tender heart, we'd splash sweet water over our tongues. Papa, what if I was the herd boy? I would be proud. What if I was the herd boy and I ate roasted meat until my belly was round and I tried to stay awake and I tried to guard the cattle but my eyelids got drowsy? Then I would show you how to stay awake. Together we'd sing to the full white moon and dance to the sweep of stars until your eyes were bright. What if I fell asleep anyway and hyenas crept in and killed a cow and it was my birthright cow? Then, tender heart, I would be angry, but still I would love you. What if I was afraid? I'd wrap my arms around you so you could hear my heart beat like a drum. What if hyenas blinked yellow eyes at me? We'd throw back our heads and howl till they slunk away. What if a lion proud in our camp swished his tail and rumbled for food and I was his food? Then, tender heart, I'd shelter you with my shield. I'd shake my spear at the beast till his great mane trembled, and he cowered in his den. I'll care for you, love you, and teach you always. Because I am your papa, and you are my tender heart. Hey, I am a look-strong, deaf person. I have a few questions for you interpreters. Question number 1. Are you certified? Am I certified? Yes, I am very certified. I have the RID, ICTC, CICT, the OIC, the CLIP, and the new EIPA. I have a level 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0, 6.0, and I am NIC, Advanced, and Master. I collect certifications for a hobby. I am book smart. Everything I read, I remember. I meet a deaf person, I remember. I take the test, and I show that I remember. And I pass all of these certification tests. I have a lot of them on my wall for display. I can make you a copy. I have some in my wallet here. I am also a AAA member. In case my car breaks down on the way to the assignment, I can get a tow. Yeah, I see everything you're saying there. But am I certified? I don't need that. Who needs a certification? Dude, I'm a Coda. I was born with ASL. I live ASL. I breathe ASL. I eat ASL. Don't need that certification thing. It's a paper game. I'm a Coda. What? Ethics? What's that? I don't need it. I'm a Coda. Hi. I am an ASL learner student. What? Did you say? Okay. Next question. Number 2. Are you available next Tuesday? Am I available next Tuesday? Let me check my appointment book. I am a very busy interpreter because I have so many certifications. I have the RID, I have the OIC, I have the EIPA, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the RID, NIC, NAD because I am certified. I love collecting certifications, so I think I can be available next week, Tuesday, for maybe 15 minutes to help you find a job. Because I don't need a job. I'm certified. Dude, I'm available, but don't you worry. I'm a Coda. I'm going to help you. I will save every deaf person in this world. If you need anything, if you need money, I have some for you. If you need food, I'll buy food for you. Next week, Tuesday, I'll come pick you up. Don't you worry. I'll give you a ride. We'll chat all the way there. We'll talk about my parents, what school they went to. We'll talk about what school you went to. We'll have a good time. I'm a Coda. I'll drive you there. I'm not even going to interpret for you. I'll be your advocate. I'll be your helper. I'll tell you what they said. They said this. They said that. Let's just let you know. I'll add my opinion. And when we're done, if you don't get the job, dude, don't you worry. You and I will file a complaint. Talk about how the hearing people oppress us. Because I'm a Coda. Slow, please. Again? All right, next question for you. So the job pays $50 an hour. Oh, $50 an hour, that is a fair market price because I have so many certifications. I have the ICTC, I have the CICT, I have the EIPA level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have the OIC, I have the CLIP, I have the NIC, I have the AD, I have everything. When they print it, I get it because I am certified. $50 an hour? I don't need that kind of money. Who's rich? Dude, the deaf need me. You don't gotta pay me. I would do this for you free. I don't care if it costs me my marriage, if I lose my children, if I lose my house. I will help deaf people. I am a Coda. That's what I was born to do. Help deaf people. I'm a Coda! My name is Keith. Okay, do you go to deaf socials? Do I go to deaf socials? I would go to deaf socials if they handed out certifications. But if they don't hand out certificates, then I do not go there. I work 9 to 5 and then I go home because I am certified ICCICT NIC NAD, which means I am too busy to go to deaf socials and waste time just chatting. I need to be at home studying for the next RID certification test. I am ready. Interpreter. Do I go to deaf socials? Dude, of course! Most of the time, deaf socials happen at my house. I throw a killer party. I got kegs out the door, a little bit of reefer madness because I'm a Coda. I party with deaf people. I sleep with deaf people. Should I be saying that? Yeah, why not? I'll tell you. I slept with Betty. I slept with Michelle. And you know Barbara? We slept 3 times because I'm a Coda. Yeah, my teacher's name is Bob. Can you read my lips? What are they saying? Hey, Coda guy, What are they saying? All right, I want to thank the three of you. You're welcome. Would you like me to go ahead and send a copy of my certifications? I can fax them all to you. I can scan them. I can put them in an email as an attachment. I can send a hard copy to you. I can show you all my certifications. It'll be around 500 pages of certification because I have my Boy Scout certification for the manual alphabet. I have my Girl Scout certification for selling cookies. You don't need to thank me. That's my job. I'm a Coda. I was born for you. Thank you. I understand. Yes. So, who did the deaf person end up picking? Interpreter 1, 2, or 3? The first interpreter was certified. The second interpreter was a Coda, and the third was an ASL student who was still learning and improving their skills. The perfect interpreter would be a combination of all three. Because we want all interpreters to strive for certification. We want all interpreters to socialize with deaf. And we want all interpreters to always work on improving their skills by going to workshops. So the deaf person would pick one who represents all three. Hey, I gotta tell you something. Yesterday, I went over to the deaf community. And when I went into the community, I noticed that they were talking about the newest thing. They made up a new game. It's called Guess, Interpreter, Eat. That's it. Let me explain. As a freelance interpreter, they tend to take on very busy schedules, booking themselves back to back, 11 to 12, 12:15 to 1:15. So once one job is done, they got to jump in their car and drive to the next location, barely making it. But interpreters got to eat. They have to have energy to help them interpret all day. But the problem is 15 minutes is not enough time for an interpreter to go home, go into their kitchen, look in the pantry, look in the refrigerator, get some meat, get some fruit, get some vegetables, and prepare a nutritious meal. So what interpreters end up doing in that 15-minute window is going to the nearest fast food location like McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell, In-N-Out burgers. Interpreters drive up to the window, quickly place their order, pay for it, the food is thrown at them, and they drive away after asking for their soda pop. Then they scarf the food down, hamburger, french fries, and soda pop, of course, diet. Then they get to the location, they go in, and they start working. Again, barely making it. But the problem is, eating this kind of food, and in a hurry, doesn't allow their system to digest it fully. It just sits there. And while they're waving their hands, there's a party in their tummy. And that's the game that deaf people have invented. When an interpreter shows up, the deaf say, look, you ready? Okay, how much money are you going to put on? I got $5. Let's go. Write down your answers, which restaurant. And then one person collects all the pieces of paper, and then they watch the interpreter. And the interpreter looks like this. Hey, thank you for watching. Oh, you must be a big fan of my work. Stop. Oh, they're starting to lecture. Let me go ahead and interpret. Oh my God. And the deaf people say, yep, there it is. That's a McDonald's face. Yeah, a hamburger has been in a freezer for 10 years. Pay up, everybody. And then when the next interpreter shows up, the game starts all over again. I'm so sorry. And the deaf people say, got it, Burger King. Look at me, pay up. Got it, nailed it. So obvious, Burger King. Cheap place to eat. And when the final interpreter of the day shows up, the game is on. Once again. Excuse me. And the deaf people can identify Taco Bell anywhere. So hey, interpreters, before you head out for the day, pack your own lunch. Grab a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, an apple, and a diet soda pop. Do not eat fast food. It's a game for the deaf. But they're earning money out of it. In this very old house lived 3 very old sisters. One was 92, the next 94, and the oldest 96. One day, the oldest sister decided to take a bath. She went into the bathroom and started the water. The bathtub started to fill up, and then she turned off the water. She started to take off her clothes, and once naked, she lifted a foot to get into the bathtub. Then she stopped and forgot what she was doing. She didn't know if she was getting in the bathtub or out of the bathtub. So she yelled to the 2 other sisters, I'm here in the bathroom. Am I starting a bath or finishing a bath? The middle sister said, let me come over there and look for some clues. And as she started to walk, she came upon some stairs. So she started to walk up the stairs, and halfway up, she stopped and forgot what she was doing. She didn't know if she was walking up or walking down, walking up the stairs or down the stairs. So she yelled for her 2 other sisters and said, what am I doing, going up or going down? The oldest said, I don't know, but get in here and help me with the bath. And the youngest sister, who was in the kitchen, overheard this whole conversation and said, you 2 are so old. I hope when I get to be your age, I don't become senile like you 2. And for good luck, let me knock on some wood. And she got up, looked at the door, and said, I think I just heard somebody knocking at the door. Hold on. She went to the door, opened it up, and there was nobody there. There was an old married couple. The wife was sitting on the passenger side. The husband was driving. The wife looked over at her husband and reflected on the many years they've been together. She said, thank you, husband, for always keeping me safe, for always protecting me in all these years. And the husband said, yeah, I love you. and the wife then fell asleep. After waking up, she put her dentures back in, looked up, and saw a quickly approaching red light, and the car blasted through the intersection. They came upon a second intersection, and again the light was red, and they barreled through that one again. I cannot believe my husband is such a dangerous driver. They came upon a third light, flashing red, and the husband barreled through it again. Finally, the wife had enough and said, "Honey, hey, wake up. Hey, wake up. You just went through 3 red lights." I gave you the wheel an hour ago. There were these 2 very old women who've been friends since they were children. They both married at the same time. They both had children at the same time. They both lost husbands in the wars. They became roommates. One night, they decided to play a game of cards. The first lady dealt them, the second lady built her hand. And then the second lady looked at her friend and realized she forgot her name. She started to feel guilty after all these years forgetting her name. So finally she asked and said, "What's your name?" And the first lady responded, "How soon do I have to tell you?" Okay, for this joke, there was a woman in the shower. You don't need to see the actual woman. Just believe me. By the premise, I'll tell you later what happens in the shower. So when this woman was done with her shower, she started to dry off, and she glanced over at the mirror, and she was not happy with something. So she called for her husband. He came into the bathroom and said, "What, honey?" "Hey, you're naked." "No, not now. I have to go to work." Just give me 2 minutes." "Knock it off." "Honey, do you think my breasts are too small?" "No, not at all. They're perfect. I like you naked." "No, I want them bigger. I want bigger breasts." "You want bigger breasts?" "Yes." "Alrighty, I'll help you. You can give me some money so I can get some breast implants?" "No, I'm broke. I'm a performer. I travel around. I don't earn enough money." "Right. Hey, anyway, I know how to help you." "How?" "See that toilet paper? The toilet paper right here? Yeah, go ahead and grab some." "Okay. Now wrap it around your hand." "Wrap it around my hand?" "Perfect. Now, in between your breasts, start wiping." "What?" "Go ahead, start wiping." "Really, this is going to work?" "Absolutely, trust me." And you have to do that every day. After about a month, you'll get results. They'll be bigger. How do you know this is going to work? Well, look at your butt. It worked there. There was this old woman who walked into the grocery store. She went over to the shelves in the pet food area. She grabbed a can, walked over to the counter, and placed it down. The owner of the store noticed that she grabbed a can of dog food. And he just happened to have read in the newspaper that morning that senior citizens were buying cat food and dog food because it was cheaper than buying beef stew, and they would end up eating it themselves. So the owner said, I'm not going to sell you this. You have to prove that you have a dog. Where's your dog? So the old woman said, I'll be right back. And she left. An hour later, she was back with the dog in her arm. She said, hey, see? Look at him. I have a dog. Okay, I'll sell you this can of dog food, but I'm keeping an eye on you. The next day, the same woman came into the same store and the same man was there. This time she grabbed a different can off the shelf, placed it on a counter, and the owner noticed it was a can of cat food. He was now very suspicious that she was going to eat the cat food. He was not going to sell pet food to a human. And he said, okay, I know you have a dog, but now you're trying to buy cat food. You have to prove you have a cat. The woman left. An hour later, she was back. Said, look, here's my cat. And the man said, okay, still, I'm keeping an eye on you. The woman was angry and left. The next day, the same woman, same store, same owner, she walked into the store holding a bag. And she placed it on the counter. And the owner said, what's this? The woman said, take your hand and put it in the bag. Now, smell it. Smell your hand. Oh, disgusting! Smells terrible. What is that? That's my proof. I need to buy some toilet paper.
Ow!